My girlfriend said, "You'll never match him in bed." I replied, "We're done." Then I turned off the stove, packed my things, blocked her everywhere, went no contact, and I just watched as she ran back to Derek and showed up begging at my gym. I've always been the kind of guy who believed in loyalty above everything else. If I'm with someone, that's it. I'm all in. No flirting, no keeping options open, no games. I really thought that kind of devotion would mean something when I met Samantha. When we started dating, she made me feel like I was the luckiest man alive. She was charming, funny, and gorgeous in that way where people notice when she walks into a room. I wasn't the most exciting guy out there, but I was steady and reliable, and she used to say she loved that about me. So I tried to show her I was serious. When she was short on rent, I covered it without thinking twice. When she wanted to go back to school for a certification program, I picked up extra shifts to help with tuition. I didn't buy new clothes for months because I was trying to help her get ahead. My friends teased me about being whipped, but I didn't care. I was proud to be the guy who put his girlfriend first. To me, that was love, showing up, being dependable, making sacrifices. For a long time, I thought we were solid. We spent weekends cooking together, watching movies, going on small road trips. She'd fall asleep with her head on my chest, and I'd think this could be forever. But slowly, things changed. It wasn't a big explosion at first. It was little comments, little comparisons. If I surprised her with dinner, she'd say, "Oh, Derek used to take me here all the time." Derek was her ex. If we were at a party and I was being my usual quiet self, she'd laugh and say, "Derek could light up any room. You're so different." At first, I brushed it off. Everyone has a past. I told myself I was being insecure, that she was with me for a reason. But over time, the comparisons added up. Her texts got shorter. Her excitement to see me faded. She started spending more nights out with friends and fewer nights with me. I'd ask if she wanted to do something together on the weekend, and she'd say she was too tired. Then I'd see pictures online of her at a bar that same night. This is the part where a lot of people start doubting themselves instead of trusting the pattern. I kept telling myself relationships go through phases. If I just stayed steady, if I just kept showing up, she would remember why she chose me. Then one night I noticed she didn't even look at me the same way anymore. We were sitting on the couch, and I caught her staring at her phone with a small smile. When I asked who she was texting, she rolled her eyes. "Relax. It's just my friend." But she wouldn't show me the screen, and the tone she used was so dismissive it made my stomach twist. I wanted to believe her. I wanted it badly. But something in me knew that the person I was giving everything to wasn't giving even half back anymore. Still, I held on because that's who I was. The guy who didn't give up. The guy who believed in fixing things, not throwing them away. Looking back, I was holding on to a version of her that didn't exist anymore. Maybe it never did. Maybe I just wanted to believe it did. The small cracks widened fast. Samantha got colder, not in a way you can blame on stress or a bad week. It felt like she decided I wasn't worth effort anymore, but she kept me around because it was convenient. At the start of our relationship, she'd blow up my phone with messages about her day, pictures of random things, little "I miss you" notes. Now I'd send a full paragraph and get a single-word reply 2 hours later. "Yeah, fine." Lol. If I asked if something was wrong, she would brush it off. "Nothing's wrong." "You're overthinking again." She'd sigh, like even reassuring me was a chore. Nights together started feeling like a task for her. She'd scroll on her phone while I cooked dinner, laugh at something online, and barely touch the food. If I asked about it, she'd roll her eyes and say, "Not everything's about you." And the comparisons kept coming. Derek was so good at picking the perfect wine. If I brought home a bottle, Derek always knew how to cheer me up. It was like living in the shadow of a ghost. A guy I'd never even met was suddenly sitting between us at the table every night. And then the intimacy started to disappear too. We went from being close to her, barely wanting to touch me at all. If I tried to start anything, she'd sigh and say she was tired. Sometimes she'd add a jab like, "Not everything has to be about sex, you know." But then she'd go out with her friends 2 nights in a row, come home smelling like cologne that wasn't mine, and collapse on the couch without a word. At this point, what would you do? Would you confront it, or would you keep trying to earn basic respect? I tried to step up. I planned dates. I surprised her with flowers. I tried new things. Every effort was met with indifference. "That's nice," she'd say without looking up, or worse, "Why are you trying so hard all of a sudden? It feels fake." One night she came home late, later than usual. I was sitting on the couch waiting, heart pounding, rehearsing the words. "We need to talk. I need to know what's going on." But when she walked in, hair a little messy and lipstick smudged, she didn't even acknowledge me. She tossed her purse down, kicked off her shoes, and grabbed a bottle of water like nothing happened. "Where were you?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. She didn't look up. "Out." "With who?" She finally met my eyes, and the look she gave me was pure contempt. "Why do you care so much? You're not my dad. I don't need to give you a report." That one stung. I didn't want to be her dad. I wanted to be her partner, but every time I tried to talk, it turned into an argument. She'd accuse me of being controlling, insecure, paranoid. "God, you're so uptight," she'd say. "Derek never cared if I went out." There he was again. Derek. I should have walked away right then. Any sane person would have seen it, but I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking like someone who had invested years into a relationship and didn't want to believe it was dying. So I stayed. I swallowed my pride, ignored my gut, and kept telling myself it was a rough patch. Deep down, I knew the truth. The only question left was how brutal she would make it when the end came. It happened on a Tuesday night. I remember because I came home exhausted, but I still stopped at the store to grab ingredients for her favorite pasta. I thought maybe a home-cooked dinner could soften the wall between us. She came in late again, tossed her bag onto the counter, and didn't even notice the food simmering on the stove. "Hey," I said gently. "I made dinner. I figured we could eat together tonight." She glanced at it, unimpressed. "I'm not hungry." No thank you. No acknowledgement that I'd been standing over a stove after a long shift. Just dismissal. Something in me snapped, not into anger but into clarity. I couldn't keep pretending. "Samantha, we need to talk," I said, trying to stay calm. She groaned like I was annoying her. "About what now?" "About us," I said. "About how you've been distant. About how I feel like I don't even matter to you anymore." She rolled her eyes and leaned against the counter like I was boring her. "God, you're so dramatic. Not everything has to be a big deal." "It is a big deal," I said. "You never want to spend time with me. You barely text me back. Every time I try to do something nice, it's like it doesn't register. I'm not asking for much. I just want to feel like I'm still your boyfriend, not a roommate who pays the bills." Her arms folded, her face twisted with irritation. "You always need so much reassurance. It's exhausting." "I need reassurance because you act like you don't care," I said. "And half the time you compare me to Derek like I'll never be good enough. Do you realize how that feels?" That's when she smirked, tilted her head, and said it almost casually. "Well, maybe if you could actually match up to him in bed, I wouldn't be thinking about him so much." For a moment I thought I misheard her. My chest went tight and my hands felt frozen. "What did you just say?" I asked quietly. She shrugged like it was nothing. "Don't act shocked. You've always known you're not exactly satisfying. Derek knew what he was doing. You don't. That's just the truth." The smugness was worse than the words. Like she was proud of cutting me down. This is another pattern people miss. When someone wants to hurt you, they pick the most sensitive spot on purpose. My first instinct was to defend myself, to demand how she could say something like that after everything I'd done for her. But something in me went cold. I stared at her for a long moment, then nodded once. "I see," I said. My voice didn't shake, I didn't yell. "That's all I needed to hear." She blinked, thrown off by how calm I was. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means we're done," I said. I turned off the stove, grabbed my jacket, and headed for the door. "Wait, seriously," she scoffed. "You're going to walk out because of one comment?" I looked back at her. "No," I said. "I'm walking out because of everything. That comment just showed me who you really are." Her jaw dropped a little like she didn't expect consequences. "You're being ridiculous," she said. I didn't answer. I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. There was no yelling, no begging, no fight, just silence. And in that silence, I realized she had finally made it easy. She said the quiet part out loud. I didn't sleep much that night, not because I regretted leaving, but because the words kept replaying. Not because I believed them, but because I couldn't believe someone who claimed to love me would use them like a weapon. The next morning, my phone lit up with messages. "Can we talk? I didn't mean it. I was mad. Please don't throw away everything over one fight." Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet later that day. Not because I wanted her back, but because I wanted closure. When I walked into her apartment, she was sitting on the couch with her arms folded like she was bracing for a lecture. She started before I could even sit. "Look, I shouldn't have said what I said. It was low, okay, but you were pushing me. You always want to talk about feelings and problems, and sometimes I just snap." "It doesn't mean I don't care about you." I stayed standing. "That wasn't just snapping," I said. "You meant it. You've been comparing me to Derek for months. Don't pretend last night was isolated." She huffed, rolling her eyes. "Why are you so sensitive?" "Everyone says things they don't mean in fights. So you don't think telling your boyfriend he'll never measure up to your ex is crossing a line?" I asked. "God, you're so dramatic," she snapped. "You're really going to end things over one stupid comment." Then she shifted tactics. Like she was trying to remind me of my place. "You're making a mistake," she said. "Derek always had more passion, more everything, but he couldn't commit. That's why I chose you. Because you're stable, safe, and now you're throwing that away because your ego's bruised." That sentence hung in the air. She admitted it without realizing it. She didn't choose me for love. She chose me for security. I sat down slowly, leaned forward, and spoke quietly. "Samantha, listen to yourself. You just admitted you settled for me. That's not love, that's convenience, and I'm not going to be anyone's backup plan." Her eyes narrowed. "So what? You think you're too good for me now?" I shook my head. "No, I just finally realized you're not good for me." I stood up. She scrambled, voice sharp again. "Fine, leave. You'll never find someone like me. Derek always had more passion anyway. You'll never be him." I picked up my keys. "You're right," I said. "I'll never be him, and thank God for that." Then I walked out for the second time, and this time I knew I wasn't coming back. After that, I went fully no contact, no texts, no calls, no checking her social media. I erased her from my life. It wasn't easy at first. Some nights I stared at the ceiling, fighting the urge to message her, to demand an apology I knew would never come. So instead, I poured that energy into myself. I threw myself into the gym, into work, into hobbies I neglected because I was always trying to keep her happy. I reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in ages because I had always prioritized her. For the first time in years, my life felt like mine. Then I heard through mutual friends that she got back with Derek. At first, she flaunted it online. Photos of dinners and parties. Captions about being finally happy, about real passion, about how some love never dies. I won't pretend it didn't sting. Seeing her smiling with him, acting like I never existed, hit a nerve. But every time jealousy tried to rise, I reminded myself of one fact. She looked me in the eye and told me I would never measure up. Why would I compete for someone who talks to me like that? Then the posts slowed down. The smiles faded. Pictures disappeared. A mutual friend filled me in. Derek was the same guy he'd always been. Hot one minute, cold the next. Unfaithful. He cheated on her within 2 months of them getting back together. And just like that, Samantha was left exactly where she started, except this time she didn't have a loyal boyfriend waiting for her. She tried to save face at first. Vague quotes about self-love and new beginnings, but eventually even that dried up. By the 3-month mark, she was almost invisible online. I, on the other hand, was doing better than ever. Work went well. I gained confidence I didn't even know I could have. People told me I looked healthier, happier, and they were right. The best part was I didn't have to lift a finger to get revenge. I didn't expose her. I didn't trash talk her. I didn't chase her down. Consequences did the work all on their own. Then the text started. At first small, "Hey, how are you?" Then, "I've been thinking about you." Then, "I made a mistake. Can we talk?" I ignored them all, so she escalated. "I miss you. I'm sorry about what I said. I wasn't thinking straight." Then she got bold. "Derek wasn't what I thought. He's not stable like you. I should have appreciated what I had." Then the late night calls came, voicemails full of tears. "I thought I wanted passion, but what I needed was someone steady." "That was you. Please don't shut me out." The irony wasn't lost on me. The same woman who mocked me for being too sensitive was now begging for comfort. And for once I felt nothing. Not anger, not longing, just clarity. It all came to a head one Saturday afternoon at the gym. I didn't even know she knew my schedule, but there she was near the entrance, like a ghost from my past. She said my name, breathless, like she'd rehearsed it. "Please, just hear me out." I crossed my arms. "You've been texting for weeks. I think I've heard enough." Her eyes were red, makeup smeared. "I made a mistake," she said. "I thought Derek was what I wanted, but he used me. He broke me down. You never did that. You were always good to me. Please, I can change." I shook my head slowly. "Samantha, you didn't just make a mistake," I said. "You told me to my face I would never measure up. You don't take something like that back." Tears spilled as she grabbed my arm. "I was angry," she said. "I didn't mean it. I only said it because I wanted to hurt you. You're better than him in every way. Please don't give up on us." I gently pulled my arm free. "You already gave up on us the moment you compared me to him," I said. "You don't come back from that." Her face twisted. Desperation flipped into bitterness. "So what?" she snapped. "You're just going to throw away years together, just like that?" I met her glare. "No," I said. "You threw it away. I'm just finally walking away from what you turned it into." She flinched like the truth finally landed. Then she stormed out. And that was the last time I saw her. The weeks after were the quietest of my life, and I mean that in the best way. No angry texts. No late-night voicemails. No drama. Samantha stopped trying and I kept moving forward. Work gave me a promotion. My body got stronger. My mind got clearer. My friends introduced me to new people, not even in a dating way, just back into life. One night I scrolled through old photos of trips, dinners, holidays. And instead of feeling sad, I felt free. Like I was finally detached from the version of myself that accepted less than he deserved. People sometimes ask if I'd ever take her back if she showed up again, promising she changed. My answer is always no. Because once someone looks you in the eye and says, "You'll never measure up," that seed of doubt never fully goes away. And I refuse to live my life proving my worth to someone who should have seen it all along. Samantha got what she claimed to want. Passion. Excitement, the rush, and she got the crash that came with it. Me, I got peace. And honestly, I think I came out on top because the best revenge isn't proving her wrong. It's living a life where she no longer matters. Here are the lessons I took from this. Lesson 1, if someone keeps comparing you to an ex, it's not harmless. It's a way of shrinking you. Lesson 2, a partner who insults you on purpose is showing you their real character, not just a bad mood. Lesson 3, being loyal is not the same as being a doormat. You can be devoted and still walk away. Lesson 4, if someone chose you because you were safe, they may try to come back when the risky choice fails. That does not mean they truly value you. Lesson 5, no contact is not petty when it protects your peace. It's a boundary. What would you have done if your partner told you that you would never measure up to their ex? Would you leave immediately or try to fix it first? And do you think Samantha's apology at the end was real remorse or just loneliness? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.